Breaking news. Without offering proof, Kennedy links measles outbreak to poor diet and health. In a sweeping interview, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary, outlined a strategy for containing the measles outbreak in West Texas that strayed far from mainstream science, relying heavily on fringe theories about prevention and treatment. I'll just stop here. So this is an article that's in the New York Times, and I'll just stop reading there.
Welcome to Nurses with Voices. I'm Dr. Lendra, your host and fellow nurse who's traded in burnout for breakthroughs. I'm here to show you how to transform your nursing career into one filled with purpose, reduced stress, and incredible opportunities. Whether you're looking to start your own business, build generational wealth, or simply find a healthier role in nursing, this podcast is for you. Join me to explore practical strategies to overcome burnout, combat bias, and chart new paths in nursing. It's time to reclaim your voice and reimagine your future in healthcare. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of Nurses with Voices. I'm Dr. Lendra, and I am going to jump right into our hot topics. It is Women's History Month, and we just had Women's International Day was on March 8th. And this month, we should just be really celebrating all things women and looking at all of the amazing things that we're doing as women and truly making an impact. And before I get into that, I do have to give you guys, we have to do the hot topics. And I just saw some breaking news, which I'm not actually surprised, but I'm going to read it to you. This is actually the same man, and I'm sure you guys may have seen this on other news stations where he mentioned that there's a measles outbreak every year. Were you guys aware of that? So according to the CDC, as of March 6th of 2025, there has been 222 cases of measles reported in 12 jurisdictions. Prior to this, now this is according to the CDC, so make sure you head over and fact check me on the CDC's website. And this the website that has been placed, that was, forced to be replaced. So if you go over to the CDC's website, again, you can fact check me. Prior to this, the measles have been eliminated since 2000, since the year 2000. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. Measles was officially eliminated from the United States in 2000. Measles was officially eliminated from the United States in 2000, meaning there are no measles spreading within the country unless it's contracted from someone going abroad and then returns to the country. Achieving measles elimination in the United States was a historic accomplishment. So to say, every year there's an outbreak, I don't know where this information is coming from. But again, you can fact check me. You can go over to the cdc.gov and look up measles, and you'll see all of the information about measles that you need to know. Measles is prevented by the MMR vaccine, which is the measles, mumps, and rubella. And it has shown to be very safe and effective, which is how we were able to eliminate measles since 2000. What happens is people become protected through herd immunity, through community immunity. And people have their own opinions about vaccines and if they're good for you. And that may be your choice for your child. But what happens is now we're leaving that exposure and that risk open for another child to contract it. So what happens is we start to decrease the immunity level at herd community. We start to decrease that, which is how we start to spread the virus, and we start to lack that protection. We have a lot of parents who have decided, or some parents, I should say, not a lot, because clearly there was still a lot of coverage. What happens is we decide we don't want to get the vaccines for our kids because people are concerned about what's in the vaccines, what they're doing to our children. But what happens is at the local level, vaccine coverage rates vary considerably, and pockets of unvaccinated people can exist in states with high vaccination coverage. So when measles get into communities of unvaccinated people in the U.S., that's how outbreaks occur. So in other news, I'm not sure if you guys have heard about, I'm sure you guys have all heard about George Floyd, the gentleman who was murdered when the police officer kneeled on his neck for 9 minutes and he couldn't breathe, right? So there was a Black Lives Matter mural that was placed in Washington, D.C. near the White House. And Trump has decided that this needs to be removed. And I'll just read you, and this is from USA Today, and I'll just read you. This is not the end. Removal of Black Lives Matter murals begins in D.C. They were speaking to an area resident from DMV area, and I'll just read you what she had to say. She had heard about it on the morning news, and she needed to see it for herself. And although disheartened by the effort, she viewed the mural's removal as part of the long-moving process of change. Black lives, she said, would matter regardless of yellow paint on the ground. So there was a movement, and there's still going to be a movement, she said. This is not the end of it. It's just somebody saying, hey, I don't like that symbol being there because they feel some kind of way about it. So let them have it. Another person said, when the mural was constructed in 2020, it brought a bit of togetherness to a city that saw turmoil during the COVID-19 pandemic and protests over radical injustice. But Trump and his fellow Republicans who control the House and Senate have targeted diversity, equity, and inclusion pushes, many of which were ushered in during the demonstrations after Floyd's death. We have ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military, Trump said during his joint address to Congress last week, and our country will be woke no longer. Now, if anyone saw that address, I didn't watch it, but I've seen some recaps. And this to me is yet another attempt to weaponize DEI. I mean, the writing is on the wall, people. No matter how you try to defend it or justify it or slice it and dice it, the writing is on the wall. This is just another attempt to weaponize. DEI has been so weaponized. And basically what you're saying is, Mr. President, is that you're a racist. And this is my opinion right now. I will give you guys facts. One thing about me, I will give you guys facts, but I will also share with you my opinion. And there's a difference between the two. And in my opinion, what you're doing is you're trying to basically say DEI is, oh, well, you didn't earn your merit. So you're saying that all of these qualifications that I have and all of these degrees that I have, they basically were given to me. Like I didn't have to work just as hard, if not harder, than other students in my class. Are you saying that I was just given all of my degrees? I'm just trying to understand, how can you truly explain your removal of Black Lives Matter from the city and from the streets, your removal and being proud that you've removed DEI from the federal and private sectors, and we'll be woke no longer. So we'll be woke no longer. So that means you want to fall asleep. It's what I'm hearing. So what I'm hearing is you'd rather be asleep to why these practices were put in place in the first place, why DEI was even had to be enacted. And it troubles me that with all of the distractions that are going on, because that's what this is. This is, and I've said this before, and this is why my word of this month is focus, because all of this is a distraction. Now, my word for January was increase, right? If you haven't noticed by now, I'm picking or choosing, words, right, to really for motivation and for empowerment. Like that's where I come from. I come from a place of motivation and empowerment, and because we need it, and we definitely need it at this time. What's going on? Because this is history that's being made. Let's be very clear. History is being made right now. This is very unprecedented. What's taking place, and history is being made, but a lot of it are distractions, and we have to stay focused, and we have to keep in mind this is a distraction. So my word of January was increase. My word for an increase in your mind, your body, your health, your finances, increase. February was position. So that way you can position yourself for your businesses, position yourself for your careers, position yourself with your finances, position yourself in the right networks, around the right people, for education.
And now my word for March is focus. Focusing on your family, focusing on building generational wealth, focusing on, again, career development, taking that increase that you have. So you've already positioned yourself and now you can focus. You can focus on networking. You can focus on what are you going to do to achieve that next level career. You can focus on these things now because everything else that you're hearing and seeing, it's a distraction. All of these executive orders, they're distractions. The removal of immigrants from the U.S. It's a distraction. The removal of the Black Lives Matter, that's a distraction. That's a distraction from the fact that our stock market is crashing. It's a distraction from the fact that these tariffs are causing our friends and neighbor countries to say like, oh, you want to put a tariff on us? I'm going to put a tariff on your lumber. I'm going to put a tariff on your electricity that we give you in states like New York. I'm going to put a tariff there. They're distractions. And we have to stay focused as people. Right? We have to stay focused. We have to stay focused as individuals, especially for those who are representing DEI, because what has happened is you're saying the DEI, you're looking at, you're correlating DEI with Blackness. So my Blackness is what you're saying does not matter. My degrees do not matter. My education does not matter. DEI is being weaponized and we're switching the narrative and we're getting rid of history, right? But all of these things are distractions. We're getting rid of history. Oh, well, that shouldn't be the education in the schools. Distraction. We know the history and we know what we had to do to get to where we are. So we keep doing it, right? We just keep doing what we're doing. And guess what? And this is why it's so important that we stay focused and we focus on our business. We focus on our children. We focus on our family. And we focus on our bank accounts. So for those of you who have money in the stock market, don't get nervous. Don't get nervous. For those of you who are wondering if you're going to have a job, start a business. And for my nurses and for my healthcare professionals, you know my motto, start a business. You have a skill that you can monetize. Also on better news and brighter news. On better news, brighter news. And on a better note, I have created a foundation called the HW Foundation. It is a nonprofit organization, and our mission, and I'm gonna paraphrase our mission. Our mission truly is to help healthcare professionals, nurses, and specifically nurses. You guys know I'm a nurse, so it's for healthcare professionals, particularly nurses. We want to help who we can, and we want to help you with your career development. We want to help you with mentorship, and we want to provide you with coaching. And ultimately, we want to be able to provide that high school student with that funding who wants to go to school to be a nurse. And this is me putting our mission in layman's terms, how we want to help our community, how we want to help the nursing and healthcare community. And this is what the HW Foundation is all about. We're all about giving back. And I'm proud to announce that the HW Foundation is going to be hosting our Health and Wealth Expo live summit that is taking place in Mount Laurel, New Jersey on May 15th and 16th. And we will be celebrating Nurses Appreciation Week. Now, to me, we should be celebrating all month anyway, if not all year, but we really should be celebrating it all month. So we're celebrating Nurses Appreciation Week on May 15th and 16th. I do recognize that Nurses Appreciation Week is the 6th to the 12th. But we're celebrating on the 15th and the 16th with a welcome and meet and greet on May 14th. And again, this is to celebrate Nurses Appreciation Week. And what I love about what we're doing, this is going to be our healthcare and wealth building summit, where you're going to really be able to learn and identify what wealth building looks like. We're going to be talking about, and if I don't name off all of the topics, please forgive me. I want you to go to the website, healthandwealthexpolive.com, and you can really check out our speakers. Go to the speaker overview page, and you'll see our keynote speakers. You'll see what our speaker is going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about, now, we're going to be talking about
a business startup, a nurse business startup, right? So the health aspect, and let me just break this down for you a little bit. So the health aspect comes from me starting my business, right? Me escaping that traditional setting, me starting my own wellness business. And that was more about self-care advocacy. And that was more escaping the bias and what we see now with DEI. And without knowing my story, you may or may not be able to truly recognize what I'm saying. And maybe you do. And I appreciate if you do, because as you know, as a woman and as a woman of color, we can do all the things, right? We can open units, close units, build programs. Our units can be number one in the hospital. And you still have to work that much harder to be recognized. And it's unfortunate. Or to be heard, right? Or to be heard. And you get tired of that. You get tired. And I know for me, you get tired of that and you get tired of playing the game. And because I like to look at myself as an authentic person. And when I get to a point where I feel like I'm not able to be myself, well, let's just say when I got to that point is when I knew that this wasn't the environment for me. So I transitioned and I started a wellness business. And in doing so, it was self-care, it was health promotion for me. So we have to know when to choose us. And choosing me was the best thing that I ever did. And that's why I'm able to recognize what's happening in the administration and why I'm able to stay focused, because what's happening and what the things that people are being so alarmed about right now, I've dealt with that already. And so this is just, it's just so happening to be rearing its ugly head to a nation now, a nation that this has been happening. This is why you have organizations like DMPs of color. And speaking of DMPs of color, our keynote speaker will be no other than Dr. Danielle McCaney. She is the founder and president of DMPs of color. And I'm excited to share that she's going to be speaking as a keynote speaker on May 15th. And again, this is what it's about. It's all about sharing information and insights and empowerment in education. This event is going to be more than a summit. It's more than a conference. This event is going to be a 2-day experience. Like, this is going to be an experience for so many of you. And I really, really want you to join me. I will have all of the information in the show notes. Well, I'll have information about the expo and how you can join us on May 15th or 16th. We have early registration right now until March 31st. So let me just go back to where, before I get too sidetracked and get too excited about the event. Starting my wellness business, that was health for me. So we're going to be talking about topics about self-care, mindfulness. I'm in the process of creating a wellness area, and it's all about wellness and self-care, health promotion, mental health. And so when we talk about health and starting my wellness business, that was self-care advocacy. That was health promotion for me. And it also introduced me to what wealth looks like. It introduced me to having passive streams of income. And this is what I want to do for more nurses, for more healthcare professionals, so that you too can to be open to thinking beyond the bedside, right? Because so many of us, we go into nursing and we want to help others, but we get into these organizations and we see that nursing has evolved. People are sicker. People need more help. There are attacks on healthcare right now because people are frustrated, everywhere from the United Healthcare CEO to now we have healthcare workers being attacked at work, not feeling safe, being traumatized. It is time for us to really focus, take our power back, and position ourselves so that we can have that increase in our lives, so that you can take vacations when you want to with your family, not have someone tell you when you can go on vacation, when you can spend a holiday with your family. Start to build that generational wealth. These are the type of things that we are going to be talking about at the expo. And I can't wait for you guys to be there so that you guys can get an understanding of what wealth building looks like within healthcare and how you can monetize your expertise. We're going to have the American IV Association. They're going to be there. They are going to be talking about how to start an IV hydration business,
how to start a mental health practice as a nurse practitioner. We're going to have a medical writing expert, right? It's going to be talking about medical writing, how you could freelance as a medical writer and make an income. And I always have to go back to say, no one's saying quit your job and start a business. We're saying to remember my word from February, position yourself. Position yourself so that you can start your own business. Now, over the next few weeks, I'll be giving highlights and sharing how you can get started and how you can start your business. I'll be talking about these things over the next few weeks leading up to the expo. And when you join the expo, you'll be able to put it all together. So I'm excited about that because, again, health, and this is how we blend health and wealth. Health and wealth is not a cliche. And what happens is our theme is it starts with me. And when I say me, I mean you. It starts with you choosing you. It starts with you knowing that you want something better and that you want something different and that you're tired of being burned out. You're tired of being stressed out. You're tired of not knowing or having to depend on this W-2 and not knowing, okay, are we going to have Social Security? Are we going to have, what is going to be for me when I'm ready to retire? We're going to be talking about these things at the expo. We're going to be giving financial education. We're going to have industry experts pouring information just into you. We're going to have someone talking about a business plan, how you develop a business plan. So you're going to walk out leaving with a business plan, right? How about that? We're going to be talking about real estate investing. If you haven't heard, real estate will change your life. But we need to know these things. We need to know where to start. We need to know what we need to do. We need to know how to get funding. We're going to have a pitch competition, which I'm super excited about. So we are going to have a pitch competition. So bring your business ideas because we want to help you fund that business. Now, again, over the next few weeks, I'll be talking more about the pitch competition. So you have to register. So you registering for the event is going to be your entry into the pitch competition. Come with your pitch because we want to help you fund your business. So the grand prize winner will win funding towards their business that they can use towards marketing, branding, however they need to use it towards their business. So I am super excited to share that with you guys. And, just so much more. Log into Health and Wealth Expo live.com to get some highlights so that you can register for our event. I am so excited about this. And so I'm going to leave it there. So again, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking about the Health and Wealth Expo and just really talking about helping you to start building your business, what that looks like. So be on the lookout for different little mini trainings that I'll do within the podcast. And and as things develop, I'll be doing little mini interviews with the speakers and I'll be making more announcements on the speaker. Our other keynote speaker is Justin Grant. Let me not forget about him. Now, if you haven't heard about Justin Grant is the author of Company Men, a wellness guide for Black men in corporate America. So he is going to be speaking as well. I can't really express how excited I am about the upcoming expo where we'll be celebrating Nurses Appreciation. And again, 2-day event. Join us on May 14th for the meet and greet. The summit will be taking place May 15th and 16th. And you don't want to miss it. So we do have vendor opportunities available as well. I'll put the information in the show notes. I'll see you guys next week. Definitely. And hope to see you at the summit. You don't want to miss it. So until next time, make sure that you stay inspired, stay educated, and stay empowered.